Chris here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the books I read between August 10th and August 16th. First up, I read The 1111 Wish by Kim Tomzik, and I gave this book 4 stars. In this book, we're following Megan, who is starting a new school and wants to reinvent herself. She's hoping to go from math nerd to friend magnet. This new school has a tradition of giving the new kids a dare, and hers is to make something exciting happen. However, what Megan didn't know is that there is a specific person who usually gives out these dares, and unfortunately, she is not the person that ended up giving Megan the dare. But once a dare is issued, it can't be taken back. So Megan has found herself in the midst of a battle between these two girls, which is not how Megan hoped to start the year. Worried she won't be able to pull something off, she makes a wish on a clock at 11:11 for magic. She ends up getting her wish, but soon learns that all magic comes with a price. So I really enjoyed this book. I loved getting to see Megan trying to fit in at her new school and kind of wanting to take shortcuts. Like, basically, her idea is I can use this magic to make people like me and then gain a ton of friends. I think it's interesting that Megan ends up unknowingly in the midst of this battle between two of the most popular girls in her grade and has to try to navigate that, and wants to continue to be friends with the one who dared her, so really doesn't want to let her down because she's worried that if she doesn't pull off these crazy things that she's promising, that this girl will no longer want to be her friend. So I really enjoyed getting to see Megan's journey of trying to impress these girls and struggling with the idea that who she really is isn't going to be enough. I also really enjoyed getting to see the consequences of her using this magic and how that makes her life more difficult and makes her wonder if the magic is actually worth it. I just really enjoyed this book and plan to check out more from Kim Tomzik in the future. Next up, I read Seance Tea Party by Ramina Yi, and I gave this book 4 stars. In this book, we follow Laura, who feels like she's being a bit left behind by her friends. Like, they're all making new friends and getting new hobbies, and Laura's pretty happy doing the stuff she's always done. She ends up having a tea party and meets Alexa, a ghost who has been haunting her house. She and Alexa become fast friends, but Alexa is stuck as a child, and Laura keeps growing and aging, and has to figure out how to keep their friendship alive when Alexa is stuck in place and Laura isn't. So it was a pretty quick read. I loved getting to see Laura and Alexa's relationship and how good it made Laura feel to have a friend who was still on her level because she was a bit behind some of her classmates. But it was also interesting at the same time to see her grow and develop while Alexa was stuck in place. I think it made a very good measuring stick because you could see Laura's growth throughout the book as compared to Alexa, who was stuck. Like I said, this was a really quick read, and I thought it was interesting to see Laura's journey and how she developed throughout the book and how Alexa played into that. I can definitely see me checking out more from this author in the future. Next up, I read The Best at It by Maulik Pancholi, and I gave this book 5 stars. In this book, we're following Raul, who is nervous about starting middle grade. His grandfather ends up giving him some advice. Find something you're good at and become the best at it. Raul thinks if he can just find that one thing, that bullies will leave him alone, and it won't matter that he occasionally spends a little too long staring at his classmate Justin. With the help of his best friend Chelsea, Raul is sure it won't take him too long to find something, but does wonder what would happen if he can't find anything. I loved Raul and his grandfather's relationship in this book, and how his grandfather was really just trying to encourage Raul to find something he's good at and liked doing, and just kind of develop that craft. He never expected Raul to be brilliant at something overnight, and Raul unfortunately kind of takes it that way, that he's just going to find something and be brilliant at it, and it won't take him long to become the best at whatever he sets his mind to. He quickly learns that that's not the case, and I like getting to see him struggle with that. I also really love his best friend Chelsea and how supportive she is of Raul, even though she thinks Raul is great just the way he is. She doesn't think he should have to change himself or try to be something he's not just to find that thing that he's great at. She thinks he's pretty great just as he is. So yeah, I really enjoyed getting to see Raul's journey of self-discovery throughout this book and figuring out what it is he's good at and what really matters. Once I picked this up, I didn't really want to put it down, and it was also a pretty quick read, so I really love this book, and I'm definitely going to be checking out more from this author in the future. Next up, I read The Tea Dragon Tapestry by Kay O'Neill, and I gave this book 5 stars. This is the third book in the Tea Dragon series, and I love this series so much. Like, I just do. So we're back with the characters from the first book, and I just love getting to see more of their journey and the adorable little tea dragons. This book has such a great art style. I just absolutely love this series, and it just makes my heart happy to read these books and see these characters' journeys and the cute little tea dragons. And I'm sad to be done with this because I think it was just a trilogy. But if Kay O'Neill ever writes anything more in this universe, I will absolutely hands down pick it up because, like I said, these books just make me happy. They're just such fun reads. Next, I read The Astonishing Maybe by Shonta Grimes, and I gave this book 3.5 stars. So this is one of my summer cover reads. If you haven't seen that video, I did a 5 on Friday where I picked 5 books off my physical TBR whose covers for some reason made me think of summer, and I went into them blind with the idea that I would get to see if the covers actually did represent the season of summer, whether the books took place in summer. So I will be doing a summer covers wrap up for that to see how accurate my guesses were based on the cover of the book. So keep your eyes peeled for a upcoming 5 on Friday where I discuss the results of my first round of summer covers. Next up, I read The War I Finally Won by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, and I gave this book 4.5 stars. So this is the sequel to The War That Saved My Life, and that book is set in World War II, and we follow a young girl named Ada who has a club foot, and her mother has told her all her life that she's basically worthless, and her mother is so embarrassed by it that she never lets her leave the house. As the war approaches, her mother decides to send her younger brother Jamie away from London for his own safety, and Ada sneaks out and accompanies him. Upon their arrival at the safer location, they get paired with a woman named Susan who had no intention of taking in 2 young children. From there, Ada and Jamie and Susan must figure out how to live together during this tumultuous time. In this book, we're kind of following on with Ada's journey, and I can't really say anything about that without giving spoilers for the first book. I loved this book and the way that Kimberly Brubaker Bradley wrote it. I loved getting to spend more time with Ada and seeing her journey and how she grows and develops as a character, and seeing the stark difference between who Ada is at the end of this book compared to who she was at the beginning of the first book, and seeing how the events of the 2 books have changed her as a person. I love getting to see Ada's relationships develop throughout this book and how you can see, again, the difference between the Ada we met in the first book and the Ada that she is in this book. I just really love this duology as a whole, and I loved getting to spend time with Ada. And lastly, I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnell, and I gave this book 4 stars. In this book, each year a baby is left in the forest to appease the witch. The town believes she is promised if they do that, she will leave them alone. However, the witch in the forest, Zan, is nice and has no idea why these babies keep getting left in the woods, so she rescues them and finds them homes on the other side of the forest. On the journey every year, she feeds them starlight, but one year she accidentally feeds one of the babies moonlight, which gives this child magic. Zan decides it's up to her to raise this child, and she names her Luna. Zan ends up having to lock Luna's magic away as it becomes dangerous, but as Luna's 13th birthday approaches, her magic starts to unlock earlier than expected, and unfortunately it does so at the time when Zan is out in the forest going to rescue the next baby, so she's all alone. At the same time this is happening, a young man from the village is determined to put an end to the witch so that their town will no longer have to sacrifice a baby every year. I really enjoyed this book and getting to see Luna grow and develop while having no clue about the family she left behind or the town she left behind. I thought it was interesting to get to see glimpses of the town as we get to see some events unfold from the young man's point of view, so we can understand why he is determined that particular year to go and put an end to the witch. I love seeing Zan's relationship with Luna develop and how much she cares for Luna and locks her magic away for Luna's own good, even though it could cause Luna to resent her when she finds out the truth. This story really sucked me in and made me truly care about Luna and Zan and even the young man, and I am really glad that I decided to give it a shot. So these are some of the books I've read recently. Have you read any of these books? If so, let me know what you thought of them in the comment section below. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a dragon emoji, like this video, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!